Hey there, welcome to Evolution Lounge. I would love to use this opportunity and to speak with you about some practical things that you can use to embody your voice. Because what I observe is now in time of expansion of consciousness of so many human beings in this time of human awakening, of course, you discover so much more of who you truly are and your truth that this wants to be expressed. So we come across a conditional voice. We only would say something in the past when we agree to someone or not making them somehow uncomfortable. So we shrink ourselves or we speak to perform and all of that stuff. But what we want to enter is the silence in us wants to speak because it is the silence that allows the tone to arise in the first place. So integrating your voice doesn't mean actually to speak more, or maybe arrive at the point where you don't care anymore and don't know what effect your words have on other people around you. So the ego takes over again. But it is about no longer betraying the signal that is inside of you. There's a signal inside of you, and you no longer can betray it. So if you see this video, you're much likely at this point where it feels almost impossible to not speak your truth. Feels like a jump that you have to do, but it is not a jump. It is a start in the single experiences, let me say small experiences every single day. That's where mastery and embodiment begins. So become aware there's a signal inside of you, and you don't have to find your voice. It was already there. You will never lose it. You just have to allow it and listen to it. All right? So here's the deal. Here's the thing. You come into connection with another human being. He or she is saying something to you. You have an experience. The first thing is to recognize that there is a pause. And you have to own that pause. The moment the person appears, is saying something, you can use that time to already remind you, let me feel my feet, let me be present, let me own the pause that is about to come. Because there is a pause. Because you want to answer, you want to respond and not react out of habit. And that can first be a little bit uncomfortable, because most human beings don't like silence. It's uncomfortable for them to just have some seconds of silence between their conversation, between their words. So you recognize the pause and you own it, and you ask yourself, what is true for me right now? And can I allow that truth to move to the edge of my lips? And then you decide if you want to share that or not. Because remember, it's not about what you say, it's about no longer betraying the signal. Because we are habituated to suppress that signal, mostly long before we become even aware of that That's actually a choice that we can make to say that, to express that. So now you pause and you feel into the question, what is now true for me? And then you allow it. You relax, you feel your feet. Do it with me right now. Feel your feet and ask yourself inwardly, just take this question into your consciousness. What is true for me now? And now feel it. Feel the truth from your heart arising through your throat. And let it arrive behind your lips with a closed mouth. Just feel it. And then you observe that energy. You play with it. You translate it in yourself. What is it? What wants this energy actually say to me? So not only in the experience with another human being or in your relationship with your entire life, you can use those questions to practice with yourself when you're alone. You write something down or you record yourself like I do right now, and you simply sit down and you ask, what is true for me right now? And then you feel a smooth energy just flowing up and you feel into it. It also can be that there's actually nothing. That doesn't have to be something. I realize for myself on my own journey of human awakening and transformation, especially in those times where I went through those enormous, intense voice openings and ownings, so to say, that you actually begin to talk much, much more less. You don't talk that much anymore. Maybe you do. But at some point you realize words are three-dimensional. They are packages for energy. You know it when you say, you feel something and you say, I don't know how to put that into words because words are limited. So that means listening to that signal in you brings you closer to you and allows you to experience more of yourself more fully. And you realize you're the only one that can have that experience right now. No matter how much you explain it in words, the other person can maybe tune into that with you, but you're the only one you're experiencing it right now. Words are limited to describe that. So as I said, I experienced that I spoke much, much more less in general. It's more like observing, and you can ask yourself, what is true for me right now? Or can I allow this truth to come to the edge of my lips? And just play with it. You don't have to say something about that after that. And when you practice that enough times for yourself, then you can actually go out, and the next time someone comes to you and speaks to you, you own the pause, you know it's maybe a little bit uncomfortable. You can say something like, let me feel into this for a moment. Because you want to answer them as yourself, right? Not as an habitual programming. So somebody came, says, oh, how was your workout today? And you say, oh, let me feel into this. Let me gather some thoughts here. And while you say this, you already aware of allowing the truth to come up, and then you feel into it. Is it something I want to share? Does this feels good to me right now? Does it feel right to me right now? Is it essential? Essential comes from the essence. That's also what I observe for myself. I speak more essential things. And sometimes when I film videos for YouTube or for my Skool community, sometimes I begin to feel a little like a vulnerable feeling in my throat. And that's always a sign for me that I spoke too much, more than necessary, because energy is the actual communicator. So, without knowing what I have talked here all the time, I know most of it was my truth. I can repeat to you the questions one more time, that you can write them down if you haven't so far. So, what is true for me right now? And can I let this truth rise up to the edge of my lips? And then decide and practice for yourself and with others in your relationships. So, if this was helpful for you and something resonated, feel free to share your experience with that, or even let's make an experiment. Ask yourself right now, what is true for me? Allow it to come up, and then, if you decide to do it, write it in the comments. 100% what is true for you right now. Remember, doesn't matter what you say. It's about no longer betraying the signal. So, brother and sister, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so that you no longer miss these beautiful videos and we can sit together more often. And I'm currently creating a beautiful Skool community. Actually, right now I'm creating the classroom Master Your Environment and the still room, where it's all about meditation and presence. And I invite you to join the community. We gather once a week to sit in remembrance and sovereignty, and to let one truth hold the room and guide the room and explore who we truly are, and to live truly as awakened humans. So, see you next time, and see you along the way. Goodbye.